I'm filming this on the 27th of January.
Right, so I've just gone back to edit this and the microphone was like muffled the whole time. I don't know why, but you're gonna get used to it and you're just gonna have to deal with it. I'm so sorry.
Hello,
So maybe I should think before, maybe next time I'll think before I talk.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and get ready for me to get mad, okay? Politics isn't something I love, but I'm a British citizen living in London, and all I'm hearing at the moment is, all I can say is I'm getting a bit bored of it, okay? This is a teenager's opinion on Brexit. Before you guys will leave, just hear me out, watch to the end of this video, because some of you do not have a clue what is going on in your country right now. Even if you don't care, I just think you should know. Basically, it annoys me when people don't have a clue what they're voting for and they vote anyway. Like, Conservative, no offence, you should not be leading our country, I don't think. My opinion, again. What is Brexit? Britain's exit from the EU. Pretty self-explanatory. What's the EU? It is basically a political partnership between 28 different countries. And it began after World War I, when basically everyone was broke and everyone just wanted to have selling of goods easy. So all of this unscientific balderdash began on the 23rd of June 2016, and this is when the vote was to leave or stay. Basically what happened was, idiotic David Cameron wanted to prove a point. He wanted to prove that no one in Britain actually wanted to leave the EU. The majority voted to leave. My problem with that, leave was promoted so much more than staying. I don't really know how to explain it, but wherever I walked, all I could see was leave the EU, leave, everyone leave. Like, everyone was just talking about leaving and no one was really thinking about the benefits of staying. I mean, we don't really have that big of a problem right now, not that I can see anyway. Oh, and why I said the majority of people voted was because 51.9% asked to leave. To me, that doesn't really, that was more like half and half, not the majority. What was the majority? But still, it would make more sense if like 60% of people voted to leave, then I would be like, okay. Also, what I found quite interesting is that Scotland and Ireland actually voted to stay. England voted to leave, and the other two voted to stay. England just thinks they're so important, and they're just not. Basically, once we were voted to leave, there was this thing called Article 50. In short terms, 2 years until we have to officially leave the EU. Theresa May, being all up her own bum, was like, I'm going to make this a law, which meant that if we do not leave in 2 years, we're breaking the law. Don't know why she done that. So that means that delaying Brexit means that, well, we can't delay it because it's in the law. I don't know if it's changed, like if he's got the law changed or something. I don't really care because she shouldn't have made it law in the first place. And do you know what also annoyed me so much? In December of 2018, the European Court, they gave us a chance to stay, and Theresa May was like, no, we're leaving. We're going to leave on time. We're going to leave. No, you're not, mate. Because clearly, how many days do we have left? Like 64? We still have no deal. Because if we want to change and actually stay in the EU, we need all the other 27 countries to actually agree for us to stay. But in December they said we can stay without any of the other countries agreeing. That could have been brave. So there was a deal that Theresa May made. Pretty rubbish if you ask me. Basically everything was the same. We were basically still in the EU, but we weren't necessarily in the EU. This was like a 600-page deal. Can't you just say see you later? I know you can't. In the deal, I'm just going to call it deal number 1. If we stayed with deal number 1, we would have to owe the European Union 39 billion pounds. 39 billion pounds. I'm not too sure about that. I thought leaving was going to give us more money for ourselves. 39 billion pounds gone? That's a no from me. That deal's being cancelled because everyone voted against it. It was so many people voted for no. It was at record breaking. So the main problem, I think it's just kind of like a red herring. Like, I feel like these people are just making this a deal when it shouldn't be. So the hard border is what they're calling it. Okay, so imagine Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland. What happens is Northern Ireland, if we leave, will be out of the EU, but Southern Ireland will be in the EU, and they don't have like borders. Like, some people in North actually work in the South, so people just kind of walk across every day. And the problem with that is that they're not too sure about how things are going to work, as in like freedom of movement and stuff like that. Like, will we have to put cameras up and watch when shippings go past the border? What about people that need to go through the border every day? Like, what's going to happen? That is basically a really big problem, is Ireland at the moment. I don't know, I just don't see why it needs to be a big deal. I feel like people who work there can have a special pass and just have a search through every day as they go through the border. There's also a no deal. I'm going to read off my iPad for this. No deal basically means that we will have no agreements with the EU. The only problem with a no deal is that there will be a 2-year transition period. The no deal, no agreements. We don't really know where we stand with the EU, meaning like money and trade. We don't really know what we're meant to be doing. But the thing that I find quite good about a no deal is that yes, at the beginning it will be very, very confusing because we won't know if we're in like World Trade Organization or the EU, like how are we trading, tariffs, blah blah blah. Everything's just going to be a bit confusing. After a year or two, probably a couple, it will be fine and we'll be like Canada and Japan, America, they're all by themselves. They are very successful countries, which then shows that we could be successful, but then again, we are an ant compared to them, so. And also freedom of movement will be a question as well, like will we be able to just live in the EU? Like how is this working? World Trade Organization, which I've mentioned a couple of times, is basically a global body which deals with rules and trades between nations. This is 164 countries. There's lists of limits of goods that you can actually trade to other countries. So like let's say we run out of petrol, but we've already over exceeded our limit of petrol and now we can't get any because there's a limit on how much we can get. That's what I kind of think is a problem with that. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm guessing it is if there's limit. At the beginning of this week there was like a thing that went out and Theresa May basically said non-British citizens, I think it was non-British citizens, have to register online and pay a £65 fee. Everyone was just going crazy because we're supposed to be like some multicultural, next up, beautiful country, which we're not. And everyone was just like, this is ridiculous. So then that night she then cancelled the fee but said that everyone had to register online, which I still find a bit weird, but at least they got their money back. Another annoying thing that actually gets me so triggered is that in 2016, okay, let's say like someone, bless their soul, up in heaven, right, voted in 2016, they're really old, I'm talking of like natural causes of death, they voted to leave. 2% of the people that voted to leave are now dead. Now it's a 50-50 vote. What are you going to do now? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to do another referendum. That's what you're going to do. It really annoys me how people that voted may have passed away, and it just annoys me how 16-year-olds are not allowed to vote. Like, that actually triggers me so much. There should be an age limit to when you should vote, because I'm sorry, these old people voting for what's happening to my country when I'm going to be an adult, you should actually have no say in it, because you're probably going to be sitting at home watching TV, and I'm going to be out there struggling to earn money because struggling to move out because everything is so expensive because of you people voting. Okay, thank you, rant over. And another thing that gets me mad, okay, you had 2 years to make an agreement, and you decide to make a deal 2 months before we're leaving. Doesn't matter if it took you a year to make that deal, okay, but you should have made it a year ago. It just makes me so angry how they want to leave and they just don't have a deal. Like, how is that humanly possible? What I think should have happened is that there should have been a deal about what would have happened if we were to leave, and then we would have voted to leave or stay. I feel like there wasn't enough talk about what would actually happen if you left and if you stayed. A lot of people were just saying, yeah, but if you leave, you get more money for the NHS, more money for ourselves. We won't be putting like £1 trillion into the EU every year like we're doing. Everyone just thought about the quick things that got you thinking to leave. Everyone is just so obsessed with money. Onto my opinion. If I'm being honest, I actually don't know if I want to leave or stay. Originally, I did want to stay, but as I was researching it, I kind of realised that leaving was actually not as bad as what everyone thinks. So I feel like, first of all, everyone's making a big deal out of something that wasn't even a public problem to begin with. I feel like all these problems are actually just to do with the government themselves, that they just need to sort out what they want and tell us. It's not that difficult to sort out what you bloody want with the country and then tell your country. Why are we now like so messed up in this stuff? It actually gets on my nerves so much. Why am I getting so triggered about this? We are a successful EU country and we are still in the EU, and we could be successful outside of it too. We just need to make a beneficial agreement to subsidise the transition period. Once we've left and got to the hang of things, I feel like it will be better. Transitioning will be a bit confusing, but then after, we will have a clue what to do and it will be a bit more easier. It is possible we are just making a mess of it because we are the UK and because we think we are the centre of everything and we are selfish. So going by that, I feel like by leaving as a country we will be able to make more decisions for ourselves, but as well just seeing how Brexit is happening just shows that as a country by ourselves trying to make a decision just doesn't seem to be working. So maybe we do need the influence of the EU to actually help us stay a stable country. But just as a teenager, the main thing that angers me is that the older people are choosing what my country is going to be like when I'm going to be working and stuff. Yeah, I just find it so unfair, and 16-year-olds should be able to vote. I even think personally that we should have, at the age of 13, you can send a letter to government and literally anyone can read it. They can bloody hire someone for this job. Making jobs for you guys, well done. You can send in a letter to why you want to vote, and then if they think that your letter is persuasive enough, then you can get the right to vote and get like a youth card or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many ways around getting younger people to vote. If you say that younger people can vote, then younger people are going to be more interested in politics. Some 18-year-olds are still so childish, and I feel like my mental age, I'm actually older than what I am, which means that I should get a chance to vote. But, you know, life's life, just have to wait. That was my opinion on Brexit. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video. Good day and bye.
Maybe I should think before I talk. So maybe I should think before. Maybe next time I'll think before I